waiting to start the video until she's done Googling.
As I'm talking, mean you started it?
Technically. Okay, now that I just showed you guys that little glimpse, it's meal planning time. So I decided to sit in the kitchen and do this today. It's fairly quiet for the moment. I'm going to say that. I'm going to jinx it. I just know it. And I've got my 12-year-old cleaning the table while I try to straighten my camera here. My husband Sean is actually over at the counter peeling potatoes and carrots right now. You see some on the cutting board. Probably expect a few faces in the background too. A few carrots on the cutting board. That is waiting for me to cut them up, and that's for supper tonight. So I'm going to make this quick so I can go take care of that. Now, if you watched my last meal planning video, you know that what we do is I've just got a handy dandy notebook, and I write 6 days or 6 meals basically in this notebook per week. So I've got 6 written down. I'll go over them with you in just a minute. The reason I only write 6 is because there's always at least one day a week where we are just on the go and I don't have time. So leftovers, fast food it is. If we have time for a 6th meal, I do go ahead and make stuff. I always keep some extra stuff on hand. You're gonna see some extra activity in the background there too. This is also why I do it downstairs in my craft room half the time. Throughout the week, I will cross stuff off. I don't write down lunches because lunches almost always consist of either leftovers or convenience foods. Some of the meals I write down are actually intended to be for lunch because I know that there's going to be evenings where we're going to be on the go. Like I said, I only write down 6 because it just seems to be that that's how many meals out of a meal plan on average we make. Okay, so first thing first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you last week. So last week was Christmas, and you can see we made everything but the French bread pizza and the shepherd's pie again. So the French bread pizza was because I went to make it. Sean brought home the French bread, but I didn't realize how short we were on cheese and we weren't going to have enough. So I put that off for this week. So you're going to see that on again this week. As for the shepherd's pie, we just didn't get to it. And it seems like that is the easiest recipe that I keep pushing off week to week because most of it's in the freezer and it's just really simple. I think one of the only things that were in the recipe that is not in the freezer is potatoes, and we've always got potatoes on hand. I mean, he's peeling them now because it's really easy to add to certain meals, especially some of the soups and stuff I make. So it's really easy to keep pushing that one back. But here's the thing. Okay, so here's this week. You're going to see that I do have shepherd's pie written down on there. You're also going to notice I have 7 things written. I'll explain that in just a minute. So this week with the shepherd's pie written down, if I don't make it this week, it's not making it on here again. I usually give a new recipe about a month, and if I still have not made it in that month, obviously I'm not that interested in making it. It's just not going to happen. There have been several new recipes. I was like, oh yes. Several of them were because I had to buy fresh ingredients for them. And so when I added them, they were made. That was it. Okay, so now here's my page. You're going to see I've got 4 items added already for next week and 2 for the following week. That can kind of ebb and flow, change a little bit. So for this week, because we're post-Christmas, I've got a lot of simple meals on here because a lot of baking, a lot of other stuff, we've just been busy and things are still on the go. We have other leftovers to get through, and sometimes it's nice to have an easy week. So crescent wraps, that is actually where I take crescent rolls and I fill it with various things and cook it in the oven, kind of like a calzone maybe, except not always pizza style. In fact, when I go to do that this week, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a recipe video, kind of a fast, easy meal idea. I'll show you how we do that. So watch out for that. I don't know if I should have that up by the end of the week. It depends what day we make them on. So we're having that. Next, you'll see pigs in a blanket. Now, this is something that when we're going to have it, I usually make it for lunch because this is something the kids typically like. We do have one who is cleaning the table who does not like hot dogs. So I actually make 1 or 2 crescent rolls that are empty for her typically. And then we've got hot dogs left over. I just heard something fall down the stairs, so that's always disturbing. The French bread pizza. This is on here because we have the bread that he brought home. It needs to be used. And we picked up the cheese today when we went grocery shopping. I have just soup beef written down. Now the reason I have that is because we're going to have soup at some point this week. It's really fast and easy. I love doing it in my Instant Pot. Probably going to make it beef based. But you know what? After I wrote this and got to thinking about it, I realized I think the last 2 or 3 soups we've had were beef based, so I might actually change that up. It's a nice thing. I keep a lot of that meat in the freezer, and I can choose to make it however I want to. That's why I left it kind of basic. And so it's going to be easy enough to change it to chicken or more of a bean and lentil or something like that. I didn't write anything specific. Guys, sometimes it's nice to give yourself that wiggle room, but soup in general is easy enough to do. Okay, so then I've got grilled cheese with roasted veggies. Okay, grilled cheese is a super simple meal. Again, now making it for 9 people when half of them eat at least 2, that's a little more time consuming than some people actually realize. And then the roasted veggies, I can just throw that in the oven. We just use frozen vegetables, throw it on a pan, throw it in the oven for about 40 minutes with a little bit of shredded cheese over the top, maybe some crumbled bacon. Everybody tends to like that. So, and it adds something that we're not just having sandwiches. Okay, now the reason there's a 7th meal on here, and this is also why I'm trying to hurry and I keep looking over because I'm checking to see if they're here yet. We had a spontaneous meal added to our list today because we're having friends over for dinner tonight. And so when I went grocery shopping earlier, I picked up 2 of the bulk bags of meatballs from Sam's Club today. So yeah, what are they, Sean, like 6-pound bags?
6 pounds, yep.
Yeah.
So 12 pounds of meatballs.
12 pounds of meatballs. That's because their family matches ours. They are coming over with their 7 kids to have dinner with us and our 7 kids. So there will be 18 of us total. And Sean and I did the math on how many meatballs were in a bag, and it was going to be like 7 meatballs a piece at the most off of 1 bag. And, well, there's a lot of teenagers, so 7 is not going to get us very far. So that's what we're having. It's actually far more than just meatballs or barbecue meatballs, which is something else I want to add to, guys. When you see some of this stuff, I mean, crescent wraps, pigs in blanket, that's not necessarily all that we're having. So like I said, he's back there peeling, well, I guess he's rinsing at the moment, but he's peeling carrots and potatoes. And so we're going to chop all of that up, and I'm going to throw that in the Instant Pot. So those are done at the same time the meatballs are done and ready to eat for that. They're bringing over a cauliflower, it was kind of like a creamy cauliflower bacon dish that she had told me that she was going to bring. And then we've got a whole bunch of caramel popcorn and caramel and cheddar popcorn. I have no idea what he's doing. This is what I live with. So we're just going to have all sorts of stuff. And I'm going to admit the popcorn and the puff corn and some of that are leftovers from Christmas. I want them out of my house. What better way to do it than with 16 kids? 16, yeah. No, 14. 14. I can't count tonight. 14 kids total. All of whom are of eating age. The youngest is our 3-year-old.
Jasmine's not going to be here.
Yes, she will. She'll be home for supper. Arguing teenagers. Okay, no. It's all good. So, anyhow, that's where it is. Today is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. I'm recording this on Saturday. You're seeing it on Tuesday. So today we're going to have the barbecue meatballs, and then we'll work through the rest of the stuff through the rest of the week. I know there probably will be some leftovers, and then I will work through, next week's list before I get groceries next weekend. So there's this week's meal plan. Crescent wraps, pigs in a blanket, French bread pizza, some sort of soup, possibly shepherd's pie, grilled cheese with roasted veggies, and barbecue meatballs with all the fixings that are going to go with that. There it is. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment section down below. I am still fairly new to meal planning, but I gotta say, between that and the way we're budgeting for our groceries, it is really changing things for us, and it is absolutely phenomenal. In fact, we are both pretty happy with what this is doing for our budget, and you know what? It's just keeping us that much more organized. And while I am typically fairly unorganized, I really like being organized. So there it is. Anyhow, like I said before, I hope you guys are having a blessed day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything coming up next. And I will see you in the next one.